Okay, so Secret Squirrels, episode what, like 32? 32.
Yeah.
All right, Secret Squirrels coming to you in association with Dr. Jerome Corsi and the CorsiNation.com website. We're here to entertain and possibly inform. And if we corrupt your mind, then don't blame us. We warned you. We're crazy people.
Embrace the insanity.
Yeah, man.
That's all I have to say.
Really got newbies in the greetings and salutations, Squirrel Cage. Hey, that's a great Cruci. I like that Squirrel Cage. Yeah.
Oh, if that's anything, if that's going to say we're going to have a cage match, look out.
Figure four leg lock. Whoa, put the kabam. Boom, boom.
They call me the Bone Crusher.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, goodness.
So, we want to have fun, and once in a while we provide some information. The first thing that I wanted to look at is suppressed information. There's a particular piece of suppressed information that I want to share with you because there's a video that apparently is being censored. I don't know. I'll show it to you. Tell me what you think. Here we go.
Hey, I was only 18 at that time. Come on.
Well, okay. Here's a video. And you guys are not going to hear it in Discord. You have to watch the YouTube to hear the audio on this, but...
For anything that looks like drugs or paraphernalia.
I'm going to restart it. Okay, here we go. This is the preview for this video. Or what do you call it? Trailer? Yeah, trailer.
All right, listen up. We're looking for anything that looks like drugs or paraphernalia.
Philadelphia Police Department, we have a search warrant. What is that smell?
Man, you gotta see this. Is this normal?
I don't know. I've never been in an abortion clinic before.
You are not going to believe what I saw last night.
How many?
So far, we found over 30 of them. Healthy woman goes into a clinic, comes out dead, and there's no police report?
Files have been moved recently.
Look at this.
You'll be the prosecutor who went after reproductive rights, and you'll be a racist to boot.
You've got a lot of folk who'd like to see abortion outlawed. And this is not going to be the case that gives them an excuse.
Prosecution has offered you a plea bargain, Dr. Gosnell.
And I would have to admit I was guilty. I'm not guilty.
When you get to the courthouse, you are going to be swarmed by reporters.
You ready for this, counselor?
Where's everybody?
When was the last time your division inspected Dr. Gosnell's clinic?
We had instructions directly from Governor Ridge's office not to inspect.
Wouldn't testify in that case about anything. You doubt you'll find a doctor who will.
And you look at the facts, you will see what I see.
An overly zealous Catholic investigator.
Is that what you want to make this about?
There's nothing that man did that protects women or children, and you don't have to be a pro-life activist to see that.
Kermit Gosnell is perhaps the most prolific serial killer in American history.
You better win.
Well, there you go. The most prolific serial killer in American history. That's not so bad.
So Cliff Notes because I was driving, so I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, so basically it's a movie that's coming out this fall, and somehow the Google is not allowing it to go through, and it's being censored. Like different social media sites are not allowing people to play that. But it's about this abortion doctor named Gosnell, and I'm not really clear on what the story is exactly, but I think it's got to do with late-term abortions, or I'm not really sure, but they're calling him the most prolific serial killer in American history.
Actually, you know what? I believe that there is actually a book out on him. That may have been where the movie originated from. Yeah, there was a doctor that was performing abortions in his clinic for years, and he was doing, I mean, just a lot of women, especially illegal immigrants and stuff, were going to him for abortions, and they were dying.
Oh, so the label of being a serial killer has got to do with the people that are getting the abortions.
It looks like it. It looks like he was convicted of 3 infants who were born alive and 1 woman through a botched abortion, and I suspect there's probably a lot more than that.
I believe so, and if I remember correctly, again, this may have been in either 2017 timeframe this came to light or 2016. I do remember it came to light, and there was an undercover investigation that brought him down. There was a lot of horrific events that he did. He performed, and the late term abortions and all that right there. That's what Clinton and them wanted, and I pray that they do show this movie and people really get a grasping of what it was that her anticipation, her goals were exactly what he was doing.
I'm going to speak directly to our audience for a second. This is not the kind of things that the Squirrels normally find fun and happy and laughterish. So, this is just kind of an unusual little...
Well, it's just censorship, propaganda, and other conspiracy theories. And just because it's a conspiracy theory doesn't mean it's not true. Things are happening. This is the world we live in.
Well, it's horrific, but I think that it needs to be brought to light because I think there's a lot more things that are hidden away. I've heard that once they come out, it's going to be so bad that not everybody's going to be able to handle it.
Exactly.
And I think Gosnell is just the tip of the iceberg. That's what scares me.
Well, the positive side of it is that we're going to be having all sorts of entertainment for many years to come when we find out all the details of all the black hats and what they've been up to for all this time. So, that's the positive. We'll be entertained for a while.
I don't know if that's kind of entertainment I want, though.
Thank you. I'm just thinking the same thing. Sometimes there is... I'm a pretty sick and twisted guy, but there is stuff that can actually get to me. I remember when we were kids and the big thing that was going around was Faces of Death movies. You remember those? Anybody?
I think so, vaguely. Very vaguely.
Okay. I had a bunch of sick teenage friends, guy friends who the Faces of Death videos, they would take actual footage of everything from Nazi death camps to cannibalistic rituals in the middle of Africa. Any kind of sick and twisted death kind of thing. And this isn't like made up stuff either. These are actual. So they'd film somebody getting electrocuted in an electric chair, put to death, and stuff like that. That's what these movies were about. They were called Faces of Death. And as teenage boys, oh wow. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, after my first one, I was like, I just don't get it. I really, nope, can't do it. Not going to watch it no more.
It's fun to watch for me until you start thinking about it too much that this is actually a true story. Then it's like, wait a minute, that's maybe not so fun. But you could do those kind of, you could create shows based on from the hero's perspective, and how we, once you use what the black hats are doing is to paint the context, because if you don't have any black hats, then the white hats don't have a job to do. So you could do it from the white hat point of view, and why it is the black hats need to get their asses kicked. I guess I shouldn't say that, but and then it's an action movie. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Then we have a classic shoot 'em up. Boom, boom. Big explosions and stuff.
I just think Kermit Gosnell, though, he has to be one of the most macabre. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes when you have to go to the other side and meet his maker. Yeah. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, looking on the about the movie. I'm kind of briefing over that. Someone had asked if it was filmed in Louisiana, so I'm trying to check and see where it was filmed at for them.
Okay, so I'm going to flip this to our news aggregator. Flipping through some stories. You guys have any stories that you wanted to include today?
No, I'm sorry. I haven't been keeping up on the news today. Just my Kleenexes.
Poor Jackson's got a cold. I got a little bit of a cold. Little body aches, stuff like that. Kind of a bummer. Took a couple of Tylenol, feel a little better. It's that time of year. Cold and flu season, bummer.
Yep.
Fact check Q&A. Is Saudi Arabia funding ISIS? Not anymore.
No, didn't we get rid of all of those people that were doing it?
Yeah, we took care of the bad guys in Saudi Arabia anyway. Clavin, I guess that's his name. The guy on what's his name? Which channel is that? That's
I don't know.
The Daily Wire. It's
of...
that one guy. He's pretty good at debates and stuff. He's good at like debating the leftists, putting them in their place. But I'm not entirely convinced that he's on our side. He's wasn't a Trump supporter, so it makes me worry about his real allegiances. But anyway, yeah, here's this article about the left society. You know, basically, if we can't win, then we're going to take our toys and go home. But it's even worse than that. They're going to destroy the toys to make sure that
nobody else can play.
Nobody else can play it with the games either, or whatever. We can't.
Yeah.
They're going to try to destroy society just out of spite because we won. We're continuing to win. And so they just want to throw their little temper tantrum and just destroy everything they can while they still have any power whatsoever. Anyway. Well, that's kind of depressing. Let's talk about something fun. Is there anything fun in here?
Well, you know what? You were talking the other day in general chat about, well, not in chat. I think it was somewhere on the server about people that have abilities and enhancing them.
Oh, see, that's definitely fun. See, now we're talking fun. You know, ESP and remote viewing and all those programs that the government funds, and they try to poo-poo those abilities on mainstream media. But then, you know, and in the colleges too, they poo-poo that kind of stuff in their science departments. But of course, the government itself is funding those kinds of things.
So it makes you wonder, the government obviously knows that you've got these abilities, and how do you enhance them? And I just thought that would be an interesting thing. What do you guys think?
You guys want to learn how to be psychic?
I think the government doesn't know about my abilities, so I'm going to keep it that way.
Okay.
It's undiagnosed, undocumented. What do you call it?
I don't know. I just grew up in
I'm just wondering what a bandit's abilities are. I'm wondering now.
Well, that's something you will not find out
Keeping that one
soon.
on the DL, are you?
That's a fact.
Oh, now I'm wondering, is he spying on me while I'm sleeping?
Okay, let's not get weird here.
Yeah, that's where it gets weird. Because it wasn't weird before that. What's it like those movies that, you know, where you can like enter into somebody else's dreams and like kill them in their sleep?
Wow, what's with the death and destruction tonight out here? Come on.
I'm feeling dark.
Real dark.
What's wrong with that? I don't see
well,
no.
I guess because none of us have to sleep with you tonight, that's okay.
You got that right.
But still, for the safety of the community. No, I'm just saying, like in my family, we have people that can see the other side, and it's interesting. Others of us can see things in the future.
Yeah, so it's not so bad.
Right. Well, like my mom would have a dream. Every time she'd have a dream about a flood, within a week, our house would be flooded out because we lived at the base of this mountain, and where our house was a natural storm drain for many millennia. And the city had built up a dam to keep it stopped. But if we got too much rain and overwashed the dam, then we were in trouble. And every single time she had that dream, I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a cold shower because it was coming through my bedroom window.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
See, every time I ever dreamed about flooding, I usually woke up with a wet bed because I peed the bed. But
no,
That's wait.
Well, in fact, one time I was dreaming that the window was filling up, and I woke up, and the dream was so vivid and real, and I opened up the window to see the window almost more than halfway full of dirty water. Yeah. And I yelled at my sister, "Go get Mom and Dad right now." And we spent the rest of the night keeping water out of my window well.
I am so sorry. Well, first, when you brought this up, I thought to myself, you talked about ghost stories, having ghost stories. I don't know what night we're going to do that on, but that sounds cool. But one of our listeners said, did they really arrest a guy with a 200-pound bomb in D.C.? Yes, they did, only he was in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yes, I just watched it tonight while we were eating pizza on Fox. Yes, he literally had 200 pounds of black powder made into a bomb. He was going to wear it on election day. He was going to wear it to Washington, D.C. and blow himself up out on the what do you call it? Where the water is.
On the mall. On the mall.
The mall. Thank you. He was going to blow himself up on the mall. He had different objects in the bomb so that he would definitely die when he blew it up. And he actually sent, this is the crazy part, or maybe. No, I understand that.
This funny. Isn't crazy.
No, listen, I understand this sounds funny, but he sent a letter to a neighbor of his telling this neighbor he was going to do all this. That's how they got him.
He wanted to be caught.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean by the crazy part. Yes, I think he truly did want to get caught. But
absolutely,
yes, so that is true there, Jacob Duplessis. I hope I didn't butcher that name. But anyway, sorry to break into that.
No, that's fine.
I actually think I might have found a story on that. This is ilovemyfreedom.org. So what do we got here? It's breaking man arrested for plot to detonate 200-pound bomb. D.C. or country's direction.
Okay, I want to know, is Maxine Waters going to get in trouble for this? Because between her and Cory Booker, they need to be held responsible for this.
Absolutely. Yes, they do.
And Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry, but they do need to be held responsible.
There's a word for that, right? When you're inciting violence?
Inciting violence, yeah, it is.
That's actually what they call it? I thought there was a special word for it.
Nope, it's called inciting violence.
Huh.
That is the actual criminal code for that. Yeah, that's what they will use for inciting. It's inciting violence, and it is a crime.
Yes,
is it a felony or is it just a misdemeanor?
It's a felony.
Is it?
And depending on the degree of it and what state you're in.
And the judge, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It depends on what state you're in.
So
you're in
what about all those?
In California, it's not.
What about all those lefties that were saying they wanted to kill Kavanaugh? Does that count as incitement?
That would actually. I think if they pushed it, they could actually get
Yes, right.
Wow, there's a crime for that. Yeah, it's what is that called?
Okay, when you beat somebody up with a weapon,
Assault.
Yeah, right. So that could be some kind of assault. Actually,
it's like a collaboration of a felony or something like that. Whenever they all go in together to do it.
Yeah.
And they already had a thing. There was a video actually, I think out yesterday. It was that some of the kids who were paid by Soros, who were supposed to get paid by Soros to do all the protesting during the Kavanaugh hearings,
right?
They were on his front lawn protesting because he didn't pay them.
Ouch!
And they did a video, and a little African American girl went on, and she was, I guess, the speaker to let them know, hey, we didn't get paid.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a backfire there.
Boom.
Oops.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow, I think I might have found another cool story.
Okay.
This is even some good news. This will make us happier, right?
Yeah.
So we got incredible.
I won the lottery.
123 missing kids located in one day after this law enforcement effort.
I think that came out yesterday, actually. Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
What happened?
I didn't
How
hear
did they
about
do
this.
that? I didn't either.
It was in news topics. Somebody put it in news topics. We just didn't talk about it today.
And, so I'm going to read a little bit of it here. A one-day sweep by multiple law enforcement agencies in Wayne County, Michigan, resulted in the recovery of 123 missing children, the U.S. Marshals Service is now reporting. The sweep, which took place on September 26, was dubbed Operation MI Safe Kid, so maybe Michigan Safe Kid. The successful operation involved the Detroit, Michigan Missing Child Recovery Unit of the U.S. Marshals Sex Offender Investigations Branch, which coordinated with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Office of Inspector General, Michigan State Police, and law enforcement officers from several other Wayne County agencies. The effort was aimed in particular at locating victims of sex trafficking. Out of 301 missing children case files, 123 children were identified and recovered safely in one day.
That is
outstanding.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just fantastic.
The agency said the sweep was the first operation of its kind. The message to the missing children and their families that we wish to convey is that we will never stop looking for you.
Good.
That's a little heartwarming story. That's nice.
That's really good. That's a third of them. Holy cow.
So every year, an estimated 1.6 to 2 million children and youth run away from home. And of those runaways, at least 800,000 will be lured into commercial sexual exploitation. So that's half of them. So, that's, wow.
So Raymond Knapp is with us again tonight, and he said, so what Maxine Waters did was inciting violence and civil unrest.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, Raymond.
And why she's not in jail is beyond me. I know that a couple days ago they filed something against her.
In DC.
In DC. So hopefully they'll go through with it.
DC was talking about that with the 100,000 signatures. There was
NBC.
Here's an interesting passage here. It says, noteworthy is the statistic that children and youth who are not living with their biological parents are 10 times more likely to be victims of sexual abuse than those who are living with one or more biological parents.
Yeah.
Well, that almost makes sense. I mean, I hate to say this in a cavalier way, but duh. I mean, sorry, but
it implicates the foster care system that they might be complicit in this stuff.
Right, I understand.
And I think this year this coming year, we might actually be seeing more and more of the corruption in some of those foster care systems. Some of them were even stating, after that first big bust, what was it, last fall that Trump and them did out in California, and they were able to retrieve like 400 and something children, that there was a lot of reports of the foster care systems were renting out the children on the weekend.
Right. Yeah, Arizona got
renting them out. Huh?
Arizona's in big trouble because they were actually taking children away from families that didn't need to be taken away.
Yep.
So that they could be put in homes where they were sexually abused.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that reminds me of that
trial going on.
Well, it was during the 80s and 90s. They had that thing in California, and it was part of the satanic panic thing, which they dismissed entirely as a conspiracy theory, as if that means it's complete fiction. But yeah, that's part of and that went national. The people were trying to figure out what to do about this stuff, and the investigators were finding it very odd that you'd have cases in different parts of the country where the victims were reporting similar treatments and rituals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that a fresh take on that was just put out a couple months ago, Brain?
No.
Yes, I was sitting here watching television on a Sunday night or something, and I don't remember if it was Dateline or something, but they were talking about it, and they literally, the whole purpose for the show was to once again downplay it, was to once again make it sound like
it wasn't anything.
Mass hysteria caused the reaction that happened.
Right.
Yep.
So if they're doing that, that's really got to make you think what's
exactly
what's going on.
Exactly. Because nowadays,
what's going to be coming out. Mm-hmm.
Yep. If I see something like that, it's like, all right, what are they hiding? What are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really disturbing.
Our
We
new
live in
visitor,
such a sick world.
our new visitor, Jacob, and I'm not going to try the last name again, says nice website to keep an eye on is globalincidentmap.com. It has live earthquake watch, disease reports, hazmat, and terrorist incidents.
Yeah, a lot of people I know are watching that, and you even get kidnapping reports, recovery reports, trafficking. Almost everything comes across on that.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Jacob.
So
right now we're watching the fun stuff. After we take a couple of hits of NyQuil, we can just watch.
Look at the pretty lights.
The pretty colors. I like the pretty colors when I lick the windows. Sorry.
Mayor's pricey party. Sadiq Khan accused of blowing 200,000 pounds of taxpayers' cash on lavish 6-week beach party, complete with free swimming pool. There you go, the mayor of London. And we just talked about that today on the Corsi show.
Yes, we did.
And about how London is turning Islamic. And specifically, it's that Wahhabism thing. It's not like a real Islam. It's the, what do you call it? That's the radical wing of Islam. That's where, and they're all kind of settling in London. But, Deep State knows they're going to get busted. So here's a guy that's probably, enjoying himself while he still can, because he's probably on the list to go down. And he probably knows it.
Oh, I hope so.
I sure hope so. He's short, little, creepy guy.
Yeah, Colin.
I'm going to emphasize the short.
Mm-hmm.
And creepy.
Yeah, I don't care how short he is. The fact that he is America. At least politically speaking, was an offshoot from Great Britain, England, and London being, this ancient town. It's probably, I think it existed before the Roman Empire. It's a super old town, and it's been taken over
by the Moors.
Yeah, they don't even hide the fact that this is, a soft military campaign.
Soft coup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Without firing a shot.
Because what?
In
because
fact,
they've taught us all.
Over.
They've taught us all to roll over and accept whatever kind of nonsense they tell us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've won it all just because of brainwashing. They're good at brainwashing. PC. And we're bad at defending ourselves against it. So
no, you know what it is? I'm going to tell you something. And if I have to, I'll put this out on Corsi Nation someday or whatever. But I'm going to tell you what it is. Conservatives are live and let live people. so we don't like to complain. We don't like to rock the boat. We don't like to be the squeaky wheel. So we sit and we take it and we take it and we take it and we take it until it's too much. And then look out. You've woke us up.
Well, it's that story about putting the frog in the water and gradually turning the heat up until
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
But fortunately, the MAGA movement came into play. Well, we had something of a start with it back with the Tea Party thing, But the Tea Party, the IRS went after the Tea Party and basically fined us out of existence, and then we came back with the MAGA movement under Trump's lead, and now we're kicking their butts. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
But why we're not? So I guess the metaphor or whatever that of the frogs boiling is not quite accurate, because we did notice something.
We did notice, yeah.
It is because okay,
but it took us a long time to notice it to begin with.
Anybody that doesn't know the story, if you boil water on a stove and put a frog in the boiling water, it's going to jump out. It's going to notice the hot water and it's going to jump out. But if you put a frog in some cool water on the stove and then start boiling it, start turning up the heat, it's just going to sit there until it starts boiling, because it's such a gradual change. It doesn't notice the change. It's going to take it until it finally boils to death. But if you throw it into a boiling pot of water, it's going to jump out because it's too hot, too fast. Well, that's, we have been for so long, had so many rights getting taken away from us one day at a time, one right at a time, one just a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit. If they would have came out, if Obama would have came out and on the first day of office would have done everything he did in 8 years, all on that first day, there would have been a revolution. We would all woke up, we would have been pissed off, and we would have done something about it. But because it happened over 8 years, and actually years before that, years and years before that, but Obama was the last nails in the coffin.
The catalyst. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is a really good meme out there. It actually shows a sniper that's sitting with his back to the front of the picture with his weapon. It says, "Do not take my silence for acceptance." And I think that right there is just right on. I completely agree with that philosophy. And that's America is now waking up, and we've been silent for entirely too long.
Yeah, and I think it's time that we're no longer silent. And I think that's part of the reason why the left is engaging in these tactics, because they know we're not going to shut up and we're not going to go away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're scared.
Because the patriots are pissed, and that is a very dangerous situation. Right now you can see them, they're throwing temper tantrums and all this other crap that's going on with them, but we will prevail in this particular issue with them.
I remember them saying in the 80s how dangerous it was to let the minority parties run so much stuff and have so much of a say on things, because it didn't help the majority of people. If anything, that it did more damage than it did good. And here we are, 40 years later, saying, yep, this is a problem. 30 years later, this is a problem. They were right.
Well, we were nice for too long.
Yeah, we were.
And we do outnumber them.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and they tried for years now to get to take our weapons away, make it more and more complicated to get them. And even Dianne Feinstein's been trying since the Iran-Contra. She was very, very dogmatic about trying to take weapons away then. And that all had to do with that arms company down in Century Arms down in Florida, actually, which is part of just right down the road from Broward County. But they were involved in part of the Iran-Contra issue. And there's statements from her whenever that occurred in the newspapers, even online, where she literally wanted to take all weapons away from everybody. That's been her end game. And that's why she's been around for like 600 years, controlling everyone. But
There's Cratchit.
Oh yeah, and then there's video footage of her out there from probably 20 years ago, where she said we just need to completely annihilate and get rid of the middle class. And that is a video from something that occurred on TV. I can't even remember what it was, but I saw it this last year again, and I thought, yeah, now I remember who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nurse Cratchit is an apropos name for her. She's crazier than a loon. I don't know how she's made it so long. I really don't.
China, they bought everybody up for her.
I don't know what's wrong with the people in California in her district. Really, people? Have you had your head examined lately? Do you know who's leading you? But
we got more good news for you.
So
more good news.
Oh, wait a minute. Brain's a little tired of our conversation. Go ahead, Brain.
Well, I'm trying to keep the thing moving. I'm trying to move on to new topics. More. Faster. Anyway, boom. New polls show Kavanaugh effect boosting Republicans in crucial Senate races.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew that. But it's good news because
it is news.
Because the lefties went crazy and everybody noticed.
Well, and Colleen Allen is saying, "Do we really outnumber them? How do you know that?"
I'm going to tell you we do, and it's more than just a feeling. More than a feeling. Sorry.
I watched Trump get elected. With everybody on my Facebook page was sitting there saying, "Hey, can you put up the Trump rallies and the information so we can get the tickets?" And I did it. And at that time, I was not a Trump. I was still mad at Trump for dropping out at the race with Romney. I really think that he could have taken Romney. But I put it up, and I had to watch the rallies so that if people asked me questions, I could at least answer them. And I watched them grow exponentially. I mean, exponentially. I'm not kidding you. And I'm looking at them now, and you look outside and you see how many people are at these rallies.
Oh, yeah.
We outnumber these people 10-1 is my guess.
That reminds me of the thing about Bernie's going on his little crusade now.
Oh, gosh. Not crazy Bernie.
Communist Bernie.
Yeah, he's going around doing this little tour of all the purple states, and he thinks he wants to, convert a few people. He thinks he can
do some good. He thinks he can do some good, like crazy Hillary. Or hypocrite Hillary. I don't know.
She's the, what do you call it? She's the whore Babylon. Everybody needs to know this.
Is.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
No, I think that's how the bad guys even see her. And they see the whore of Babylon as the great beast. What is it? No, it's the whore of Babylon rides the great beast. That's their prophecy or whatever for the end times. They thought it was going to be Hillary.
So the great beast, that would be Bill?
No, that would be Humad. What's her name?
Oh gosh, Abedin.
Yeah.
That was her handler. So
yeah.
Oh, I think that was her lover. Sorry to say.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Why is it mutually exclusive? It's both.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the other thing, though, is that, that's somewhere that rumor was circulated that Huma Abedin was actually a gift given to Hillary, like some kind of slave or something.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, where'd we hear that? Where'd you hear that? You told me,
that's...
That was back in my days where I followed Q very closely, and I don't remember what led me to that conclusion. But that was...
Right. She was put in as quote unquote Hillary's aide. Anyway, that girl, whatever. She did not get a top secret clearance, but she had access to top secret information.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
She worked right beside her, and she had access to every top secret and SCIF information because she was the distributor. Okay, she was the distributor. So know that she did not have a top secret clearance because of her ties to her mom and dad and all of that's going over there.
Muslim Brotherhood.
Exactly, because of that. But yet she worked side by side with Clinton and all of them and had access to all of that information.
That's just...
Yeah, there's so many rumors about that, though. I really want to know what's really going on there because, I mean, some of the rumors was like Huma Abedin, and that's that. What was it? What's her husband's name again?
Weiner.
Anthony
the laptop,
Weiner.
the life insurance thing, where there was a video that had Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton doing a snuff film, and so it's both Huma and Hillary engaging in rape and torture to the ultimate death of a female victim.
I think that's what Eric Prince was saying whenever he did that. He did an interview last year. I think about this time last year, actually, he did an interview. I believe it was Breitbart, and it was a very disturbing video. I mean, a very disturbing interview that he did. He said that the police department, whenever they retrieved all of those that information on Weiner's laptop about Hillary that he had saved in the My Insurance file or Uma had saved in there, it contained so much horrific pornography and things that were going on with children that they literally had to get counselors in there for the police officers who had to look at that to document it.
I heard that too. Who was Obama's handler?
Brennan.
Was
no.
Valerie Jarrett.
The girl.
Was it Jarrett?
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Communist Jarrett. Yeah.
Yes. So what I was going to tell you guys is way before Q, my brother and Brain knows my brother a little bit, and my brother was in the Navy in Panama back in the 80s and everything else. But my brother is a highly self-educated political scientist. That's the only way I can explain him. And he has known for a long time that Huma and Valerie, that those people are running the show for Obama and for Hillary. And that was way before Q. That was way before Q.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff out there. And even whenever Obama was still in the White House, I believe it was whenever Hillary was running against Trump, she had put a statement out that says, basically, we know who our enemies are and we will take you down. And we have the ways to get all of your information or something to that effect. But yeah, she is definitely, her connections are all with communists. Her family is communist. And she was running the show. She was his right-hand lady in the White House. And then as soon as the day of the inauguration, basically, she was already moved into their home, their home where their daughter was going to college. Yeah, that was a big thing about that. They lived right down the road from Ivanka and Jared whenever they lived on the economy, is what I call it. But yeah, so whenever their daughter was finishing up college, they had this, it was like an 8,000 square foot townhome or some crap like that. And Jarrett had moved in there. Jarrett moved in there immediately. And she was there 24 hours a day. And now they're at that new property that has a bunker. She's there. And yeah, so, but there's more pictures of them that go further back than the White House, though.
Really?
Well, here's the part that confuses me. Like, now in America, you have, the Muslim Brotherhood getting people into positions of power in the White House under Obama. And then, you have the Muslim invasion in Europe and that soft insurrection, or I don't know what you would even call it. But then you go to Asian countries, go to China, and we know that China is a big part of what the cabal is up to. And maybe that's like further down the progress, once they get, basically it seems to me like that maybe the Muslims are like the foot soldiers. So it's like a clash. They set the Muslims up as pawns against the Jews
army.
And the Christians, right? So they want the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims basically to kill each other off. But once they get in a position of power, you see, like in China, they want to kill off the Muslims too. You know,
Right.
it's not like the cabal is Muslim. It's just a means to an end. You know,
Right.
They're just trying to establish power.
Yeah,
and so you get like a Chinese Communist Party. They try to kill all the religions. So the bad guys aren't really Muslim. You know, I don't know. It's
they're really anti-religious almost. They don't like anything.
No, only the Quran.
Yeah.
And the violence that's behind, you know, the how they interpret it is what it is. And their main goal, though, was to divide, basically to bring the country to their knees by dividing and conquering. So they weave themselves into all of these agencies and corrupt. That was all Obama and them's plan, the communist Valerie Jarrett plan. All of their plans was to put all these infiltrators in these positions to literally take down the United States.
Yeah, but you get the people that, I mean, like in the chat here, we have somebody talking about Muslims and Jews, and I don't know to what extent. In my mind, it makes more sense that the cabal gets like they find a way into all these different institutions, and and that includes all the different religions, and also in the it's also in the school systems. It's everywhere, right? So they put their actors in these positions of power and influence, and they destroy everything from inside. It's like a rot, or like a cancer or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so they kind of motivate their own followers to have that sort of group identity, and it's us versus them, and they want us to fight each other over any sort of demographic classification, whether it's gender, race, class, sexual orientation, religion, whatever. And it's like they just want us to kill each other, so that's
the Lewinsky tactics. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Lewinsky, yeah.
Yeah, Lewinsky, and the same thing with the colleges. Yeah, they put all the Marxist, professors and stuff in there. And it's been, they've been doing this now for what, 20, 30 years. They just get more and more radical in their beliefs and how they teach.
Yeah, so I guess the moral of the story is that to choose any side, in one of these, basically it's a superficial manifestation of what the deep state is up to. If we side with the Jews or with the Muslims, or we're siding against another group, and that is the mistake, because then it's like we're serving their interest, because we're allowing their definitions to determine our community, I guess. Who we want to be, and who we want to be friends with, and what we believe to be true, and any number of things. It's like they just want to sow division wherever they can. And just to weaken us, so that we can't know what's really going on, and we can't make educated decisions about how to live our lives.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it's
just a pregnant silence.
Well, it's just like, how do you survive this? Really, I mean, that's really the question: is how do you survive this thing? And in some sense, we can almost use this evil for good purpose, because
absolutely,
because it's kind of like a life lesson. Why are we judging people according to these classifications when we shouldn't be prejudging anyone anyway? We should be assessing
each one on their personal merit and character.
Yeah, their personal character. What kind of person are they? How do they act in the world? What do they contribute to society? What do judge them individually by the actions that they by their deeds.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, we've done this for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? I mean, when we grew up in the 70s, you never saw this kind of behavior. I mean, everyone accepted everyone basically on their merits, and we had the best neighbors in the world. I mean, the people that we worked with were just they were just good, downhearted people. We did not care what their sex was, what the color of their skin was. We don't care. You know, if they're here to do good for the world, that's all that mattered.
Yeah, we all have our failings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like now it's just whatever our faults are, it gets blown up in your face and you get reminded and slapped with it on a daily basis.
Yeah, whenever you have white reporters saying that white men are no good, or white, I'm like, do you not realize that you're white? Duh.
I was watching a show today. This was so disturbing today. I wasn't watching the show. I was seeing advertisements for it. And the show is called Black and White. And this black guy and this white guy were talking about why it's not appropriate for a white guy to use a brown emoji thumbs up. Seriously? And why do we even have a colored emoji to begin with? Does it really matter?
These people have taken so many, I don't know if they're taking antidepressants, or I just do not know what's going on in their mind.
Is life that boring that we really have to have a discussion about that?
Yes, it is. Now listen,
I'm just not even going to go there.
Hold on here. This is my opinion is everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, and because we are in a constant entertain me kind of world now,
right?
That these people think about this. There is a YouTube channel for anything you can think of. Anything. Right. Think about that for a second.
They want instant gratification.
Weird. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so people are trying to find a niche, trying to find this. I'm going to collect seashells and glue them to my car. And
oh my God.
Well, I just happen to be looking at a jar of seashells in the room here.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying? And see if it's going to take off. See if it's going to hit enough people at the right way. And, I'm going to be Facebook famous.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's just crazy. It's just crazy. All of this instant gratification thing, it really just people need to get their priorities straight. They really do. I was talking to Jax about this, a couple of weeks ago actually, and instant gratification. I mean, whenever you're an Army wife, your gratification is your husband coming home after a 15-month deployment. That right there is instant gratification. Not I put something on the phone and I need somebody to respond to me like right that second. And if I don't, like most of these kids nowadays, and even a lot of adults, they're totally pissed off in a matter of minutes if you don't get back with them like right now. And it's very, very interesting watching that kind of behavior.
Well, think about how. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Think about how, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, but think about how different it is from 40 years ago. 40 years ago, 30 years ago even, if you called somebody's house and they didn't have an answering machine and nobody was around.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't
panic.
Right. You either called back in about 3 hours when you got a chance again, or you know what I'm saying?
Or you went over to their house.
Or you write them a letter.
Right.
So you get back to them a couple days later.
Or, wait, here you see them at the... Yeah.
It was just the way it was, and it was accepted, and it was fine. Everything was fine. The world wasn't ending. It wasn't,
It wasn't on fire.
Exactly. And you cooked popcorn on the stove in a pan with oil.
Oh, yeah.
It took you, 15, 20 minutes by the time you cleaned up and everything else, but it was so worth it. You didn't stick a bag in the microwave for 3.5 minutes.
We didn't have a microwave.
Well, yeah, exactly. But, yes, okay, so there are advancements that have made our lives better, that have definitely eased the burden of a lot of things and everything else. But at the same
they've
time,
caused problems at the same time.
we are living in such a different mindset, and I don't think it's all good at all. I just,
dating used to be you actually went and met someone in person. You don't go through an app and sit there. Nope, not going to happen. Hell to the no. Nope. Yep. Okay, we'll send him a note.
Hey, you didn't have to tell me hell to the no. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be rude about it. Jeez.
Really?
I was just listening to my son the other day do that.
I can't help it. I had a mullet. Jeez.
Raymond on our chat, he calls it the short attention span theater. Absolutely, Raymond.
Yeah.
Amen. And love some Jiffy Pop, yes.
What were we talking about again? Okay, so this article is Newsweek's former parent company charged $10 million in fraud scheme. Imagine that.
What for?
Imagine that. You think
former parent
company
up for adoption?
I guess.
In a fraud scheme.
Manhattan prosecutors have charged Newsweek's former parent company, IBT Media, with carrying out a plot to defraud lenders out of millions of dollars as it struggles to remain profitable. Fraud probe. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's got advertising abuses and its connections to Olivet University, a Christian institution in California. Everybody knows there's no Christians in California.
That sounds familiar. Hey. Well, I guess not. I'm not considered one, so.
Well, you're not in California either.
California.
No, not anymore.
If you were Christian, you either stopped being Christian or you moved out.
Yeah.
Or you went into the closet or something.
I have family down there.
Yeah. Anyway, so, it's nice to see the bad guys get in trouble.
It sure is.
I'm just going to say right now, I'll use any color of thumbs up emoji. I don't care what color I am.
Exactly.
You mean that thumbs up emoji doesn't have to be yellow? Maybe it could be blue?
Exactly.
She's a rebel.
Who cares what color it is? I don't care.
Exactly. Why do we even have to have a color?
Exactly.
What the heck is that? Really? I'm just saying. And I am a rebel, and I will do it just to tick people off because it's funny. Because I like getting snowflakes triggered.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
Yeah.
Yes, but we love you anyway.
Thanks.
We don't know what we'd do without you, Bandit. Really, we don't.
You were doing just fine till I came along.
No, actually, it's been fun that you came along.
Well, thanks.
Good thing Brainstorm knows you.
What's this story? Grand jury indicts 4 California men in connection with 2017 Charlottesville.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why is it that swept all over the news?
So,
because it must not be on the right side.
Well, why are these California people going all the way to Charlottesville?
Because they're getting paid by George
Soros
to cause problem.
Follow the money.
Unrest.
Yeah.
And Raymond Knapp, yes, I am also a longtime member of the Conspiratorium. I do enjoy Lionel Nation.
Yeah. So conspiring to riot, is that it? Is that a...
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Look at their ages.
Mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The Antifa group.
Yeah, they're probably college educated and gotten
living in mom's basement.
Initiated / indoctrinated by their college professors. That's what happens, man. You go to college, and you could have been a happy, well-adjusted human being, and then you go to college and you learn all this. Well, it's not really called learning, but you get you start thinking in these wrong ways.
You get brainwashed.
Yeah, that's a better word for it.
Indoctrinated.
Hey, are you reading? Are you reading the story?
Well, I was just kind of skimming through it.
Okay, well, they are actually getting busted because they flew from California out there to incite a riot. And it's so I'm guessing they're on the left.
Well, see, depends on this depends on how you slice and dice your reality, and especially specifically your political parties, because some people view like neo-Nazis as right wing. You know, even though it says right in the name National Socialist, they consider that right wing. And so, but to me, in my way of thinking, you're either a collectivist or you're an individualist. So the collectivists, in my mind, are all leftists. So if you're trying to lump me in with anybody, you're a leftist.
Right.
You know, and so the right is about individual rights and responsibilities. To be a conservative, in my mind, means that you want to protect and preserve the classical liberalism, which goes back to John Locke and John Stuart Mill and their discussions, all those ethical theories that were being discussed by the founding fathers when they wrote the Constitution. You know,
Brain.
What?
Get with the times?
What?
Get with the times.
Which times?
Now. Here's the problem with you trying to go back and explaining what used to be liberal and used to be conservative. It isn't anymore.
Yes, it is.
As much as you want it to be.
No, you're wrong. Because they have confused us. They use the words incorrectly, and now we don't know how to talk. If we go back and use the words correctly, then we know how to talk, and that means we know how to think. You can't.
We're not going to change the whole generation. You and I right here tonight are not going to change the whole generation. When I say liberal, what do you think? Not what do you think 50 years ago or 100 years ago? What do you think today liberal means?
Those naked ladies with tapes over the bahoogies.
Pink hats with those little horns on them. Little horned pink hats.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's
exactly.
But okay, how about we just call them collectivists versus individualists? Can we sort it out that way?
Hold on. How about we call them, like I said to begin with, the left?
I think that's appropriate too.
Well,
I don't think either one of you are wrong.
Well, I'm not saying he's wrong.
The left thing because I represent that kind of view.
I'm not saying he is wrong. I am saying he is not with the times.
No, I'm with the truth.
Okay.
So let me ask something really quick on this grand jury thing. Whenever that particular incident happened out in Charlottesville, they had paid people for both sides of this thing to play both parts of it. The KKK, which is originally the Democratic Party to begin with.
Yes,
so they paid them. Yep. See, they paid part of them to be on one side, part of them to be on the other side, and then at the end of the day, they all get on the same bus and go back where they came from, or the same plane or whatever. So they were playing both sides of the party. This is the Rothschild, Soros paid, funded way to divide and
Let's
to cause
make
the biggest
Trump look bad.
Yeah, to cause the biggest amount of damage in a short period of time with national TV right there. And then we had Terry McAuliffe, who the governor, I believe, is who he is. He was right in the mix of it. That's Hillary's buddy, the one who paid Paul Ryan's wife like $600,000 for her campaign. It's all just a bunch of corrupt coup, and that's what they wanted. And even if they had to pay all of the people there, you go on this side, you're going to be, the KKK for the day, and you go on this side, you're going to be Antifa for the day, and just beat the hell out of each other. And we'll see what kind of footage we can get out of this, and see how long it takes Trump to respond.
I think that's important that it is the KKK and Antifa for a day, because these people aren't lifelong members of KKK or Antifa. In fact, if anything, they did this just to cause problems. And I had a friend from Canada saying, "Oh, it's the KKK, it's the KKK," and I told her, I said, I can't tell you when I remember the last incident that the KKK really actually did. I said, those weren't the KKK. They were people paid to be that. And she still doesn't believe me.
I've also
heard this. Robert Byrd that was Hillary's, kissing buddy, Robert Byrd, man. That was her mentor. And he was like the head honcho at KKK. And he was a senator, for God's sake.
I've also heard another thing about the KKK is that the original KKK actually died out, and then they had to give it. They had to give it a new birth or whatever, and that's when it became racist. I don't think it was actually racist originally, but we'll call it the left. The left reinvented it, and now it's this racist thing.
They were against anybody that they did not agree with. Yeah, I know that because I had family members that died at their hands.
But the original, what do you call it? The uniforms or whatever.
Right.
I think that's actually part of a Catholic. What do you call it? The ceremony. Yeah, the rituals and stuff.
From the Templars, I believe, something close to that from way back whenever. But they just went, crazy with it, and then it was all against, African Americans, and then right after that was whenever they implemented with Margaret Sanger the Planned Parenthood. That was all Democratic funded, and it was to force abortions of African Americans and to do sterilization of them. And there's a very, very good documentary I watched this last year on it, and it was horrific, everything that they did. And that's all the Democratic funding.
But really, when is the last time really that you saw people rounded up or rallies for the KKK? Really?
Haven't. You haven't.
Exactly. These people are paid for the day. They're paid for the day to have a political view.
Well, hasn't it always been a Southern thing anyway? I mean, I don't know that it's ever existed.
No, because it was out in the Midwest for a while, and it's also it has gone as far north as I do believe Virginia, and a little bit further north than that, from my recollection.
Raymond Knapp put in here in the chat, he says the last that they heard, the total number of white supremacists in a country of 330 million is 165,000.
That sounds like a lot.
Right. And those aren't KKK.
No.
Those are all of the white supremacists.
And even then you have some people, there's plenty of people that kind of line up in that group who aren't precisely white supremacists. I would consider them more like white nationalists, which doesn't mean like you're trying to kill off the other races. You just want to turn the country white again, basically.
Right. They're nationalists, yeah. So I
mean they're still racist, but they're not out to kill people or stuff like that.
Right.
They're not fanatical.
Exactly. And many of these hiring agencies, actually, they're the ones who source and then go to months ahead of time. You'll see the advertisements in their newspaper. We had, down in Houston a while back, there was advertisements, and people on Facebook and other places would actually give everybody a heads up. Hey, there's advertising now for people to go in on a demonstration. They're hiring people to fill-ins for demonstrations, fill-ins. There was fill-ins out in Vegas. There were fill-ins down at Broward County. They had put ads out before the school shooting started. And some of those people that were in that school shooting pictures actually looked just like some of the other people were in the shootings out in Vegas area.
Yeah. And I did see that as well.
Just know that. And many of these people will also be CIA. A lot of these people will be the younger kids that are coming into the CIA, especially like the other day at Kavanaugh hearings. A lot of those kids, George Webb said, are the new CIA kids that are coming in. And because he just kind of waved at them like, hey, yeah, I know who y'all are.
Well, I think that's what got Alex Jones in trouble with the Sandy Hook thing, is because so many of those people looked familiar. They were familiar faces as we started getting with some of these issues that were going on. And you can't blame them for saying, well, wait, I've seen him before.
Yeah. And the same thing out in Charlottesville, one of the guys who was... he ended up being a reporter, but get this. So right as soon as that guy had hit that girl, right, and all the chaos started, this guy was he was reporting for something or the other. I don't even remember which news agency it was. And then right after that, he was reporting in civilian clothes as a person. And apparently he had also pulled the same stunt in another big event that had happened. I can't remember if it was an Antifa breakout in California or what it was. The same exact guy, and there was a side by side done of him.
Right. Well, yeah. and what's sad is when you see all of the media participating in that kind of deception. I mean, I'm still laughing over AccuWeather and Florence with the guy sitting there saying that the wind's really strong and the guys are kind of just do in the background, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
exactly. You know, the deception
on to the pole
that is out there that these people are perpetrating are just, don't they have any shame? What happened to morals? What happened to ethics?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got confused about them. We don't have a common language to discuss them that is not couched in a specific religious tradition. And then anytime you bring up a moral question, people claim separation of church and state, religious. And you can no longer have the discussion. So we've lost the ability to have discussions about civic responsibilities, personal responsibilities, individual rights, all that stuff. It's out the window. So now it's just whoever screams the loudest, whoever's got the platform to say it, and just censor and use your propaganda, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So the moral of that story being that we need to be able to have these conversations again and come to having these civilized discourses about which moral principles we want to practice in our society.
Well, and we should be able to discuss our religions without it offending anybody, you know, and without anyone getting all up in arms. Oh, well, you believe differently than me. Oh,
you
well,
have a different opinion. Oh my God, you're a heretic.
Yeah.
We're going to have to lynch you.
Right.
Brian,
yes, sir.
It's hard to have an intelligent conversation with somebody in a vagina hat. just saying.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm afraid I have to leave the show.
Yeah, it's probably about time for us to wrap up anyway. So you're gonna stick around long enough if we wrap up now, then we can all say goodbye to everybody. Because we can do that. We can go to that. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
So now we're gonna do a little exit music thing. We got our music playing. This has been the 32nd episode of the Secret Squirrels, and now we are going to
Sneaky Squirrels.
Well, the name of the music that we use is actually called Sneaky Business. So I'm looking at this at my OBS here, Sneaky Business. So the Secret Squirrels, we are in association with Jerome Corsi and CorsiNation.com website, and we're here to desensitize you to the label of conspiracy theory, because just because you're thinking about conspiracies doesn't mean it's not true, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because there really are conspiracies out there. It's okay. You can think about them.
You need to name this one Squirrel Cage.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yep. I will do that.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
Yes,
and bring all of your friends here so that we can get more of us involved in the conversation. We want to hear what you guys are thinking.
It's about the subscriber thing. We need to get more subscribers.
Yes.
You know, so if you can share, appreciate it. You know, namaste and all that.
And your friend. Talk about the insanity.
We can be crazy together.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't be afraid of your insanity.
Embrace the insanity.
Yeah.
It's good for you. Puts hair on your chest.
And some nights are funner than others.
Yeah, tonight was a little on the dark side. A little bit.
It was.
I think it was still cold.
I like the dark side. It's fun. I have the morbid curiosity. Because, you know.
kind of scare me. Just saying.
Like, aren't you curious about what makes the bad guys bad? What is it they're even up to?
Yeah, but I don't need to get into their mind so completely that I become one.
Right.
I'm not scared of that.
They're Unabomber.
Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys out there in the chat world. It's been a pleasure to have you present here. I hope to see you again. So we're all waving to you. You can't see it, but we are waving to you behind the blinds.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Have a great evening.
Have a good evening.